Episode 238 of the Aggressive Progressive Podcast. I'm just sick of it. I'm sick over it. Something's got to happen. Something's got to change. Let's start the show.
We are now the defenders of the stronghold of democracy and of equal opportunity.
You and I, as citizens, have the obligation to shape the debates of our time, not only with the votes we cast, but with the voices we lift.
The people are looking for honest answers, not easy answers.
The very word secrecy is repugnant.
Clear leadership.
And we are, as a people,
not false claims and evasiveness and politics as usual.
opposed to secret society.
But ours was a nation of the ballot, not the bullet.
And a secret proceedings.
As a people, we cannot afford to let any group of citizens or any individual citizen live or labor under conditions which are injurious to the common welfare.
Black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, young, old, gay, straight, men, women, folks with disabilities, all pledging allegiance under the same proud flag to this big, bold country that we love. That's what I see. That's the America I know.
Not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America.
Welcome to the Aggressive Progressive Podcast. I am your host, Chris Hahn. I am at Christopher Hahn on X, Christopher Hahn NY on Instagram, and ChristopherHahn.com. Those are my socials. Thank you for liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, and telling your friends about this podcast. Okay, look. Last week was a difficult week. And I'm going to give you my real-time reactions to what happened. I'm going to insert some stuff from my radio show, a couple of shows I did last week after the tragedy killing of Renee Goode in Minneapolis. I'm generally an optimistic person. It's been hard to be optimistic about the future of our nation the last week. Now, I'm sure I'll get that optimism back, and I'm sure we will all work really hard this year to make sure that some accountability comes back to Washington. But the events of last week were disturbing. Now, over the weekend there was some springs of hope. Mary Peralta is going to run for Senate in Alaska, putting that state in play, which is great. Tom Tillis, the senator from North Carolina, pushed back on the president's indictment of the Fed chair. I think that's great. But I was generally really disturbed last week. And it's not that I want to jump to any conclusion about what happened there, although, it is very clear to me that this officer acted in an inappropriate way. But generally speaking, when something like that happens, our leaders call for calm. They say, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to do a full and complete investigation. That is not what's happened. What has happened is we've had a White House that has tried to get out in front of it by blaming the victim for her death, and then trying to besmirch her. I mean, Kristi Noem was on the Sunday shows this weekend basically saying this woman was a terrorist, which she said immediately following the shooting, and said that she was harassing officers as they were trying to leave. A blatant lie. I don't know what else to say about it. I'm going to play for you some shows I did last week, and then I'll wrap it up. So listen to these. So Trump is telling his friends in the House of Representatives they better win the midterms or he's going to be impeached. Sounds prophetic to me. I think that the president knows something that we don't know. Now, I don't know if it's the Epstein files, or I don't know if it's his plan to invade Greenland without authorization from Congress. Like, let's just put this out, right? You can make a case for Maduro. I don't like the case, but there is a case to be made. There was an indictment brought long ago, not even by this president. And then there was a superseding indictment brought by this president recently. But there's no doubt in my mind that Maduro is a criminal, that Maduro held on to power and was a dictator, and that he jailed his enemies and killed his enemies, and he mismanaged the economy of his country. And there's a lot of reasons to go after Maduro. I don't like that the president did it without Congress, but maybe there's an argument to be made. What is the argument for Donald Trump taking Greenland from our ally? Right? I mean, what is the argument? You want to tell me what the argument is? You want to tell me that the president of the United States consistently saying that he would use force against our ally for no reason without the consent of Congress would be a legal thing for him to do? That would not be an impeachable offense in any other time in our history. If any other president had said that, including Joe Biden, that president would have been impeached and removed with broad bipartisan condemnation of their action and of what they've said. Forget about an action. Just the fact that the president would be out there suggesting that he, without Congress, was going to send our troops to capture territory held by one of our allies, a NATO ally. Yeah, I do think he's going to get impeached. I think he should be impeached right now. And it has nothing to do with Epstein. It has to do with the behavior he's been engaged in, which is extra constitutional. So yeah, he should be very worried about the midterms because accountability is coming for Donald Trump. I mean, I saw the QAnon shaman on Tuesday, the anniversary of January 6th, right? Donald Trump's worst polling day before the end of last year, by the way. I saw the QAnon shaman on CNN explaining to a reporter why he is no longer a supporter of Donald Trump. A man who went to jail for Donald Trump, a man who stormed the Capitol for Donald Trump. No longer a supporter of Donald Trump. By the way, it was because of the Epstein files. That was the straw that broke his back. Now, again, I don't know what straw is going to break your back. If you think him going into Greenland's a good idea, if you think that just the United States using force because it can, which is what Stephen Miller has said on national television, the little troll Stephen Miller, who this entire nation is paying for, I think, problems he had as a young man. You know, I went bald too early, not as early as him. I mean, I made it into my 20s. He started going bald as a teenager. I mean, that must have been hard. But I went bald too, bro. I find it fun. I just shave my head once a week. Not shave, I buzz it. I'm too lazy to shave it, let me be honest. I buzz it down once a week, and it's very efficient. I could go to the gym at lunch. But Stephen Miller went on national television and said, we'll use force. This is our hemisphere, and we'll do with it as we wish. So we'll attack allies, we'll take land, and he's not going to ask Congress for it. The power to make war and declare war is a power held by Congress. If there's an imminent threat to the national security of the United States, the president has the right to address it. What is the imminent threat from Greenland? Cold fronts? You know, an Arctic cyclone? Like, what is the threat? The mention of it, The weakening of this nation around the world, in my opinion, is unpresidential and should be examined by Congress. Whether or not they impeach him, I don't know. But damn, there should be a hearing. There should be a hearing about its impact on this planet. And I get it. There's a certain amount of wag the dog going on right here because those Epstein files must really be bad for him. Really, 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 really bad. DOJ said they've only released 1% of the files. I wonder why that is. Listen to this. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your host, Chris Hahn. I am at Christopher Hahn on X, Christopher Hahn NY on Instagram, and ChristopherHahn.com. Those are my socials. Thank you for liking, rating, reviewing, subscribing, and telling your friends about this podcast. I mean, this radio show, too. I'm on the radio. I always forget I'm on the radio. I love it. I love my radio stations. Thank you so much for listening to me on the radio, whether you're on AM or FM or PM or whatever M you're on. I really do appreciate all the support. At Christopher Hahn on X, Christopher Hahn NY on Instagram, and ChristopherHahn.com. Those are my socials. So, we're talking about the president's fear of impeachment. Which, I guess I get it. I'd be afraid, too, if I was him. I mean, he's done a lot of impeachable things. I mean, crypto. Let's talk about his crypto. Let's talk about all the money being paid to him by people who want to do business with this country. I just, or his companies. I just... Again, where are we? How did we get here? How did we get to a point where there's even 30%? I can't believe this man's still in the 30s. I really can't. Because he's doing all these things that are crazy and weakening the United States internationally. And he has done nothing to improve your situation here at home. Now, I see all of you out there on the right. You're all reaching out to me and you're posting on social media that gas prices are going to come down. Okay, they're not. Not anytime soon, and probably not anytime ever. Because if you think that ExxonMobil or Chevron or anybody else is going to go there for free and develop all that infrastructure for free and then make oil $20 a barrel, you're out of your mind. The price of oil is going to stay the price of oil. There is no shortage of oil. There is a shortage of refining capacity. And there is a market that I think is sometimes manipulated. But there is no shortage of oil. I think it'd be great if Venezuela was producing to capacity and were not part of OPEC. But they are still part of OPEC. And they still have the same regime running Venezuela. Donald Trump thinks they're going to play ball with him because they know he could take any one of them out at any time. Now, let me also point this out. 20% of our Navy, 20% of our Navy is currently occupied off the coast of Venezuela. What if there's a real threat to the United States while 20% of our Navy is occupied off the coast of Venezuela? Like, for all these other countries that Donald Trump is threatening, are we going to put 20% of our Navy off their coast too? Are we going to use 50% of our Navy to go into Greenland? What would that take? I'm fired up. I am absolutely fired up. Because I know this man is wagging the freaking dog. This is the plot of the movie. He is engaging in a distraction for a personal embarrassment and maybe something worse. And again, DOJ, 1% of the Epstein files have been reviewed. Ready to be released. 1%. Funny how the Bill Clinton stuff came out immediately, right? The picture of Bill Clinton in a hot tub, that's out. Well, we didn't have any problem finding that one. And again, for those of you who say that I'm partisan in this, if Bill Clinton did anything to an underage woman, Bill Clinton should pay the price for that. I have no problem saying that. Okay, my first Democratic National Convention was 1992. Bill Clinton, Madison Square Garden. I was 19 years old. I still believe in a place called hope. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was working it. Always liked Bill Clinton. But Bill Clinton's a flawed human being, and I recognize that now. Do you recognize that about Donald Trump if you were a Trump supporter? I recognize that Bill Clinton's a flawed human being. And if Bill Clinton did things that were illegal with women, let him pay the price for it. Do you say the same thing about Donald Trump? What if you're an evangelical Christian? Do you say the same thing about Donald Trump? Do you think he should be held accountable for sins he committed against underage women? Against children? I don't know that he did anything. I really don't. I assume he didn't. But why is he working so hard to keep that information from us? Why? I keep asking myself that every single day. It doesn't jive with my own theory that if he had, it would have came out because he's president of the United States. And I have worked on many a campaign. I've done opposition research. These are the kind of things you find out about. We would have found out. So why is he working so hard to cover it up? To distract us from it? You think it's a coincidence that the president did this the weekend before Congress was returning? What, you think that was a coincidence? Do you believe in coincidences? Are you that naive that you think it's a coincidence? I hope you're not. I think if you're listening to me, you're probably not that naive. I'm giving you ammunition to talk to your friends who are that naive. I know some of you are tuning in to me on conservative radio for the guy who comes after me. Or maybe you left me on from the guy who came before me. And maybe you're thinking that I am just wild on this. And maybe I am a little wild on it. But do you really think he'd be fighting this hard if he was completely innocent? Nobody would. Nobody would. You know it, and I know it, and so does he. Some people think this is a Rorschach test. How you look at it depends on your political ideology. I do not think that. I think it shows all of us chaos. Chaos that is not necessary. And if you don't know that I'm talking about what happened in Minneapolis yesterday, well, now you know. Here's what I saw. I saw some officers that were not trained, at least properly trained, to deal with a de-escalation of a situation. That's what I saw. I saw officers that were not properly trained, that were probably rushed into this job for political theater. And now a woman is dead. An officer killed her, and he'll have to live with that guilt, whether he pretends that it was in self-defense or not. Did not look like self-defense to me. What I saw was a woman who was trying to make a U-turn, it looked like, and was waving these ICE trucks by her. And then one of them stopped. Officers got out, tried to enter her car for some reason, and she panicked. I don't think we should jump to conclusions in any way, shape, or form, but that's what it looked like to me. And if we lived in a country with a Justice Department that was independent, they would be coming out and saying, we're investigating this, and we will get to the bottom of it. If we lived in a country with a normal president, they would try to de-escalate the situation, that they would be conducting a full investigation into what happened here. But that's not what we live in. We live in a country where you look at an incident like this, you put on your jersey, and then you tell me what happened. But I am telling you that America, no matter how you look at it, is going to see chaos. And the chaos is caused by Trump. He is the king of chaos. He is causing chaos with our allies. He is causing chaos in American cities. And he's doing it for political theater. If you think that this is about anything else besides political theater, you are naive. And if you're listening to somebody who comes on the air right before me or right after you or after me, and they're out there saying it's all self-defense and these guys are out there putting themselves, they are putting themselves in danger. You know who else putting them in danger? The president of the United States, who's putting them into American cities without proper training. And he wanted this. The president of the United States wanted this. This is not something he's upset about. He is not. He wants this fight. He wants to distract us from prices going up. He wants to distract us from the Epstein files. He wants to distract us from his side deals. He wants this fight. And he also knows that he could then blame the radical left. They called this woman a domestic terrorist. I don't know too many domestic terrorists that reach their arm out the window and wave cars by. Look at the video. Look at the video. And tell me she wasn't waving them by. And did it look to you like she was trying to make a Yui? That's what it looked like to me. Should she have obeyed the orders of the men in front? Yes. Do people panic in that situation? They sure as hell do. Did she cause an imminent threat? Was she an imminent threat to this officer? I don't think so. I think he could have stepped back 2 feet. In fact, he did. Right? He did. He survived. He's not dead. He's not even hurt. So, America, you judge it yourself. But whatever you judge, don't deny the chaos that's being created in American cities by Donald Trump. That's what's going on. And we have a Congress that's feckless. We have a Congress that is not able to hold anything accountable, anything that this president does accountable. Some of them are worse than feckless. They are downright despicable in their attempts to prop this man up. I watched that video way too many times. I had to go on TV about it, and I got choked up, and to fight those tears back, I got angry. And I'm still angry. And I think that it's time for us all to get angry and call for our Congress to hold this man accountable. Listen to this. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I am your host, Chris Hahn. I am at Christopher Hahn on X, Christopher Hahn NY on Instagram, and ChristopherHahn.com. Those are my socials. If you're not already listening to me on the Aggressive Progressive Podcast, please download the Aggressive Progressive Podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. And while you're like, rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends. And watch me on News Nation. I'm on there a lot. I'll be making some announcements about some other TV stuff pretty soon. So stick with me on that. So, let's talk about accountability. Now, also, let me point this out. I'm not particularly thrilled that the mayor of Minneapolis came out and started cursing and saying, get the F out of Minneapolis. I don't think that was necessary either. I do think that he could have said that he disagreed with Kristi Noem's assessment and that they were going to conduct a full investigation into it. Kristi Noem came out immediately, and called this domestic terrorism. How is, again, watch it. It's not domestic terrorism. It's a woman who panicked. We're not going to find anything in this woman's background, I bet, that suggests she's a domestic terrorist. I'm more than a little concerned that we have a Congress that is just going to let him do it. And I know that there are many members of the House Republican Conference who are planning to retire at the end of this year. Probably because they might lose, or probably because they've had enough, one way or the other. We need like 3 or 4 of them, though, walk across the aisle and pick a speaker who will hold this president accountable. And I don't understand why the Democrats in the House of Representatives have not tried to do that, to recruit some people to come across the aisle and do that. You know, we have this thing called the Problem Solvers Caucus in Washington, D.C. I like it. I know they try to do things bipartisanly. I got a problem. Here's the problem solvers. We got a president that's running roughshod over the Constitution, deploying troops into American cities for show. And he's not being held accountable. We can't have a real hearing in the Congress to question the members of the president's cabinet about what's going on. We have a president who invaded a country, who has decided that the oil they have is now his oil, who is talking about invading one of our allies, ending NATO. Where is the hearings? Where is it? Problem solvers. Here's a problem you could solve. Accountability. Checks and balances. Cross the freaking aisle for 9 months and elect another speaker. That's the problem. Needs to be resolved. Because we don't have any accountability right now. Look, accountability is coming for this man. There will be a wipeout of the House Republican Conference. I am telling you right now, this is a watershed moment. And the more I look at that tape, man, the worse I get, the madder I get. But I mean, here we are. I mean, it's just like, did you forget that this was the chaos man 4 years ago? We elected him again. Now do you know that he's the chaos man? What are you going to do about it, voter? Like, what are you going to do about it? I'll tell you what you can do. You can get yourself out and you could vote. And you could push this man out of office. Or not. He's not going to get pushed out of office for 3 years. But you could hold him accountable. You could have some real hearings. I'm just, again, I don't like that this is being viewed as a Rorschach test for the American public. And I don't think that that's what it should be. A woman is dead. She's dead. 37 years old. And you think that, that whatever she did deserved a death sentence? Yeah, no, you shouldn't flee from law enforcement. But are these guys law enforcement? They're not wearing badges. They have no names, and they got masks over their face. This is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous thing. What has this country become? And why are there so many people who still think that this is okay? I don't understand how this president is still at 36% approval. He should be at 5% approval. This is bad. He has not solved your problems. You are still not living the life you want to live. And he is making this country more chaotic. And that chaos is not going to bring you joy ever. And it's not going to make your life better. So why are you still supporting him? What do you see in this man that makes you say, oh, yeah. No, it's over. He ain't helping you. He doesn't care about you. I mean, if you were a billionaire and you could help him, or if you had something for him, he'd care about you. But he can't get elected again. So what does he care? He's going to do what he's going to do. He's more concerned about his legacy. He wants Greenland to be named Trumpland or something. I don't know. But I'll tell you this right now. He ain't solving your problems. He ain't making you. You think gas prices are going down? You're out of your mind. If anything, he's going to mess up the global market and gas prices will go up. Wake up. Just wake up. You've been lied to. You're going to get lied to by other conservatives on this network. And you got to wake up. You got to do your own math. Figure it out. Call for accountability. I don't know what else to say. This is about as angry as I've been. Either way. So there you have it. That's what I was thinking in the moment. I hope it wasn't too dark. I know it was a little dark. But, again, the light will return. I believe in this country. I believe in the people of this country. And I think they know what they saw. And they saw chaos brought on by the president. And he will be held accountable eventually. All right. I want to remind you now, as I always do, to seek the truth. Question everyone and everything, even me. Seek the truth. I know it's out there, and I know you'll find it if you look for it. And I'll be back here again real soon to tell you the truth as I see it. I'm Chris Hahn. Thanks for joining me on the Aggressive Progressive Podcast.